Alright, Garrett, so we're making moves on the bobber here, but we need to actually get this thing wired up. So there's a lot of videos on the internet, on YouTube, on how to wire up a hardtail bobber. Alright guys, so for the bobber harness, we're obviously going to need the battery. So let's start with the battery right here in the middle. And we'll keep it super simple. There's your positive and your negative. Come down here, you're going to ground it. So these three lines, okay, that's going to be your ground there. Now, if you're using a digital ignition for say like a Dynatech, okay, Dynatech, that would be like your, like it would be replacing your points or whatever you have. Okay, there's a bunch of lines that come off here. The two main ones you need to be concerned about is a purple, a white, and a pink. So we have our coil right here. And the coil's not the same. You have 2 points on the coil, all right, where the power comes in, and then you have your spark plugs that come out here. So we'll do spark and then spark. And let's get rid of that actually. Put that there and then put that there. So those are your actual connection points. So on the Dynatech, you're going to have a pink. It's going to come out. It's going to go to your rear cylinder contact. All right. And then there's going to be one more that's going to come out. It's going to go to the one that's towards the front. Cannot mix these up. You'll burn that coil out. And this one is going to be, we'll do white. Okay. Now, the next one for the Dynatech is you have a Vose system. Ground the Vose system out, doesn't matter where. A lot of people still use these, some people don't, it's up to you. If you're not using it, bend the wire over, heat shrink it, tuck it away somewhere safe. You're gonna have a line that's gonna come off of your ignition, it's gonna go to your Vose, and that's purple, okay? It's a purple line. Now, for the next one here, is you're going to have your starter. Okay. And then you're going to have your actual key. Now, each key is going to be different. I'm using this one here in particular, and it's got a few extra posts on the back. You have your in, your constant, out, all that stuff. If you notice, there's another white on the back. Doesn't matter which key you're going to use, you need a constant white that comes off that ignition. Okay, and that white's going to go right into that top coil, which is the closest one to the front cylinder. Okay, it's going to be white, 12 volt, constant. Okay, now you have your starter. This is where it gets good. Make sure you have a dedicated line coming off the battery to the starter. Now you're going to need another power line coming off the battery. And it's going to come off this way. We're going to take it right down there. So for the next part is you're going to have your relay. All right. And this here is the relay, let's say harness per se. So you notice that it has a few wires coming out of it, and these are pinned depending on what you're doing. So on the relay, there's a white line that comes off. On all the relays, they're all going to be the same. You're going to ground that one out on that there. So the next part is you have a yellow line coming out of the relay. That's going to go to the starter. So back to the white line right there, it's going to be number 85. And if you look closely at your relays themselves, you'll see that they are numbered. Okay. And that's going to be your yellow. That's going to be your actual signal that's going to come out. So there's another one that's going to come off the key. It's going to be slightly different on the way you're set up here. But your black is going to be your signal off your key. And it's the one that's going to be intermittent. It's not a constant. You do black, 12 volt into the relay. And then you have a purple line. That's the one we drew here. Purple, 12 volt. That purple goes into the relay there. Now, that's your basic wiring diagram to get this thing started. Let's go over it again really quick. You have your battery here, 12 volt to the starter. Okay. Then you have 12 volt going to the relay. Battery's grounded to the frame. On the relay here, you have your yellow signal coming off. Okay. So when you turn the key, puts the relay together, sends the signal, and takes that power, pushes it through here, starter, gives a signal. Okay, and opens up the two connections here. So essentially they're split, they come together. Your white's gonna be grounded, 85. Black is coming off the key and going to the actual relay there. And then your white 12 volt constant is going to the first post on your coil closest to the front cylinder. There's another white coming off going to the Dynatech. There's a pink coming off the Dynatech going to the coil. And then you have a purple coming off the Dynatech going to the Bose. There is one more, it's for a tack. We're not using a tack. So that's gonna be out of the question for this one here. Now, probably thinking to yourself, hey, there's no power going to the key. You're absolutely right. So you can run another battery, line off the battery, go into the key, or I just tap the purple and go right to the key. So 12 volt, 12 volt on. Now, you do need headlight, tail light, if that's the direction you're going there. So what you can do here is you can either run directly off the battery and do another line, which I don't really recommend, okay? Or you can come off your constant 12 volt, so 12 volt constant, and then do an inline fuse, such as one of the old ones that came off this Sportster here. I'm using one of these old type with the little metal bar in there. So they overheat, they snap, and then when they cool down, they start working again. Okay. And then you can do headlight and then tail light. You're gonna want to ground this out. Remember, the 3 lines is a ground here. 3 lines is a ground there. Okay. And then 12 volt here. And then you could run another separate wire to the tail light if you want to do that. Completely up to you guys there. But here's our harness that we put together. So I do know it works because I have tested it and I put it together with Jet. So it looks pretty complicated, right? But if you look at what we got going on here, it doesn't take long to put together. You are going to have an extra one here, depending on how you wire it up, any extra accessories. But this is the basic harness setup here. All right, guys, so that's the wiring harness in a nutshell here. I'll post this up in the description with a little more information for you. We did make our harness here. If you haven't been following the video or some of the episodes from our bobber build, here's a little quick sneak peek at it and on what we have going on. So that harness that we made will actually wire into this frame here. If you guys have any questions or any specific information you need for a bobber harness, let me know. Leave comments. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I'll do my best to answer everybody. Hopefully you'll follow the episode for the bobber build.